I still remember the first time I tried to speak English in front of a group. My voice trembled. My heart pounded like a drum in my chest. Every word felt like climbing a mountain barefoot. I had practiced for weeks, memorized the lines, repeated them in front of the mirror. But when the moment came, I froze. They looked at me, waiting, and I just stood there, silent. That night, I went home and cried. Not because I was ashamed of failing, but because I thought, maybe I just wasn't meant for this language. Maybe English wasn't for people like me. But something inside refused to give up. I was tired of watching subtitles, tired of nodding in conversations and pretending to understand. I wanted freedom. I wanted connection. I wanted to feel confident when I opened my mouth. So I made a decision. I would learn English not just to pass an exam or impress someone, but because I wanted to live in it. At first, I thought I needed more grammar books, more exercises, more vocabulary lists. But the more I read, the more I realized I was trapped in a cycle. I knew the rules, I just couldn't use them. Then one day, I was watching a video of a girl explaining her English journey, and she said something that changed everything. Don't study English, live in English. At first, I didn't understand. Live in English? What does that mean? It means this. If you want to speak English naturally, you have to bring it into your real life, not just during study time, all the time. So I made my first change. I switched my phone to English. At first, everything felt confusing. I didn't know where anything was. But slowly, I started recognizing words. Settings, notifications, update. These small words became part of my daily life without me even realizing. Then, I started watching English shows without subtitles. I couldn't understand everything, but I listened. I paused. I rewound. I started noticing patterns. The way they said, "You know what I mean?" Or, "Are you serious?" Or, "That's crazy." I realized English isn't just about vocabulary, it's about rhythm, tone, flow. The next step was scary, but necessary. I started talking to myself out loud. Yes, I know how that sounds, but it worked. When I cooked, I said what I was doing. Now I'm chopping the onion. This is going to smell really good. When I got ready, I said things like, "I need to find my blue shirt. Where is it?" I was creating my own English environment, out loud. My confidence began to grow. Then I found something powerful. Shadowing. It's when you listen to a native speaker and try to repeat exactly what they say. Same tone, same speed, same rhythm. I did it every day. I'd pick a short podcast or a scene from a movie and just copy. At first, I felt clumsy. But then my mouth started to remember. My tongue moved faster. My accent softened. It was like I had found the secret door. Every time I did this, I was building muscle memory. And then came journaling. I bought a small notebook and promised to write one page in English every night. At first, I wrote very simple sentences. Today was a good day. I met my friend. We drank coffee. But soon, my writing changed. I started using phrases I had heard in shows. We caught up over coffee. The weather was gloomy. I had a blast. I wasn't translating anymore. I was thinking in English. There were bad days too. Days when I made silly mistakes and people laughed. Days when I forgot basic words and felt like I was back at zero. But I told myself something important. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is comfort. It's being okay with making mistakes and still continuing the conversation. I stopped chasing perfect grammar and started chasing real connection. Then I made the boldest move. I joined a speaking group online, a group of English learners from all over the world. We met once a week on video calls. At first I said almost nothing. just listened. My hands shook every time I unmuted my mic. But they were kind, supportive, encouraging. I found out everyone else was afraid too, but we helped each other. And slowly, I started speaking more. One day, we had to describe our favorite childhood memory. I talked about the time I learned to ride a bicycle. And for 5 minutes straight, I spoke. No script, no notes, just me and the language. When I finished, I expected silence, but they clapped, smiled. One person messaged me later and said, "You speak with heart." That night, I cried again. But this time, it was because I realized I had become the person I once envied. Here's the truth I learned after everything. Learning English isn't about talent. It's about patience, practice, and presence. It's not about memorizing more. It's about living more in the language. I started reading English stories I loved as a child. I listened to English songs and tried to write the lyrics. I joined forums and left comments. I even recorded myself telling stories and listened back. Every small action added up. And most importantly, I stopped being afraid of sounding stupid, because sounding stupid is the first step to sounding natural. I used to think native speakers would laugh at me, but you know what I found? Most of them admire people who try. They're happy to help you. They don't expect you to be perfect. They just want to understand you. One day, while traveling, I met a tourist who asked for directions. I answered in English fluently, confidently. Later, she said, "You speak so well. Are you a native?" I smiled and said, "No, I just worked hard." And I had. Behind every sentence was a moment of frustration, a night of practice, a morning of listening and repeating. But I had made it. I learned to speak English not because I studied harder than others, but because I brought it into my life. I made English my friend, my tool, my mirror. If you're listening to this and struggling, let me tell you something. You're not bad at English. You're just early in your journey. Stop waiting for the perfect day to start speaking. Speak today. Speak badly. Speak awkwardly. But speak. Because every sentence, every word, every mistake brings you one step closer to fluency. You don't need 100 textbooks. You need consistency. 5 minutes a day of real English is better than 5 hours once a month. You don't need to know every word. You just need to know the words that matter to you. Think about your life. What do you talk about every day? Work? School? Food? Hobbies? Learn those words first. Build your vocabulary around your life, not a textbook. And trust your ears. Listening is powerful. Before children speak, they listen for years. Why would we expect anything different for ourselves? Let the language wash over you. Soak in the sounds, the rhythms, the pauses. And don't underestimate your own voice. Speak to yourself. Record your thoughts. Describe what you see. Even if it feels silly, even if no one is listening, it counts. Every word counts. I once read a quote, "Language is not taught, it is caught." And it's true. You catch it by being around it, by touching it, playing with it, living with it. And one day, without realizing, you start dreaming in it. That's when you know it's no longer just a language. It's yours. You own it. It's the voice inside your head. It's the way you connect with the world. It's part of your identity. So keep going. Even if progress feels slow, even if you have bad days, even if people don't understand your dream, you're doing something brave, something powerful. You're giving yourself the gift of a new voice. And I promise you, one day you'll wake up, speak a full sentence out loud, and smile to yourself. Because in that moment, you'll realize you didn't just learn English. You became someone who could speak to the world.